Eheim, the original designer and manufacturer of canister filters, now has a Wi-Fi canister filter. Not every reefer uses a canister filter, but a lot of reefers use UVs and a lot more use heaters. I'm here with Brian to talk about this bad boy. This is UV sterilization for your tank.
Yeah, so it's an inline UV, 9 to 24 watts. We have them Wi-Fi version as well as non-Wi-Fi versions as well.
Okay.
A lot of people will then ask the obvious question, what does a Wi-Fi UV do?
Yeah, what does Wi-Fi UV do?
So the advantages are you can schedule the amount of time that bulb's running if you don't want to run it 24/7.
Okay.
Great for extending longevity, of course. And you can also do a bit of a boost overclock on it if you're experiencing kind of an algae bloom.
Okay.
You could temporarily run more power to that bulb.
Like for a day or like an hour?
Yeah, for a couple, like a 3 to 4 day period, you can keep adjusting it. Obviously, you're going to shorten the lifespan of the bulb, of course, for doing that.
Sure.
But it gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Okay.
And it'll also communicate with the rest of our Eheim digital lineup.
So this has barb fittings for, I'm assuming, your classic Eheim green hose that will connect to this?
It will do 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. You can see I put 2 different sizes on there. So those will pop out and you can put different size fittings in there as a quick disconnect.
And this just hangs on the side of the sump, mounts on the wall?
Yeah, we have a bracket that clips over it and comes with all the screws included, and those connection points can kind of pivot a bit. So you can get that in really, really tight spaces, which a lot of reefers don't really have. You know, UVs are sometimes added as an afterthought to a build or something like that. So it's great for kind of squeezing a UV in there at the end of your build.
So the bracket mounts it to your stand or mounts it to the wall?
Yep.
And then I can just swivel these. That makes the most sense.
Yep. And it can go any direction, upside down, sideways, however you need it to work, it'll
That's
do
nice.
it.
So it doesn't have to be just this way because of concerns about air.
Not at all. What's also great about it too, if you want to hard plumb it, as a lot of reefers love hard plumbing.
Yes.
You can take the 2 screws right there and
Okay.
then replace the bulb without redoing any fittings or connections. That'll slide out.
Do I have to drain it or anything to get the bulb out?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Really?
It's really easy.
2 screws slides out and replace the bulb.
Yep, and it's a 4-pin bulb. It's nothing proprietary, so replacements are really inexpensive.
So you said 6 watts all the way up to 24 watts.
It's a little strange. On the non-UV side, they start at 6 watts. On the Wi-Fi side, they start at 9 watts, but they'll go up to 24 watts.
Okay. So for the Wi-Fi, I can control the schedule of the lights. I can boost it if I want. Any kind of feedback if the bulb's burned down or something getting too hot with the Wi-Fi? Send me alerts, anything like that?
No, it's really just for setting a timer
Okay.
and for adding extra power.
Okay. So an easy way to set it up. I love that you have a mounting solution. I love that I don't have to drain this thing to get the bulb out. Assume you guys sell replacement bulbs as well.
We do, yep.
Okay.
And like I said, they're more of a standard size. It's just a 4-pin UV.
Okay.
So it's a really inexpensive replacement, nothing proprietary.
So if you're thinking about UV for your tank, this is an easy add-on. 24 watts is good for, were you saying 90-gallon tank, 50 gallons?
Yeah, I mean, it varies obviously because it's inline, so it's going to depend on your flow rate as well. But yeah, something in the 100-gallon range for the 24-watt UV.
So you could put it in line with your return line, or you could get a little pump like an Eheim and feed this on its own.
Feed it right on its own, yep.
Okay.
So lots of flexibility.
And I gotta know, is it Jaeger or Jaeger heater? It's gotta be Jaeger, like Jägermeister,
Yeah,
right?
we say Jaeger, yeah.
Jaeger, okay.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi Jaeger, what does that get me?
So really 2 things. The coolest thing is included in that is a temperature probe. So a great, inexpensive temperature probe, especially for a new hobbyist. They're buying a heater for the first time. They can actually get digital information of their tank's temperature. And then you could also adjust it remotely, of course. You can set it and it'll notify you if there's any problems within a certain parameter of degrees, like 3,
wherever
4
I am
degrees,
in the world.
wherever,
it
yeah.
is. Okay.
Yep.
And I can change that setting from anywhere in the world as long as this has Wi-Fi.
As long as it has Wi-Fi. You can also set it up just to run locally on your own network too.
Okay.
If you're worried about security or you don't want to mess with it when you're away from your house, you can do that as well.
And it's got the knob on the top, so I don't even have to use the Wi-Fi if I don't want.
So that knob is just a reset. So you have to use the Wi-Fi on our heater for this version. If we still sell the classic ones, that you can adjust it, of course, but yeah.
And it's sending me alerts. Can I set alerts if it's too hot or too cold?
Yep.
It does that too?
Yep, it'll do that too.
I'm taking this through some Eheim app?
So it's all browser based. So when you buy the heater, you'll see there's a QR code on the actual power cord itself.
Okay.
And that's really it. You scan that QR code, it connects. and you're using the heater. We wanted it to be really simple, really low barrier of entry. There's so many apps for every product line out on the market right now.
Yep.
It's very crowded, so we wanted this. If a new hobbyist grabs a heater, they have some cool features, they can learn about their tank, and they can see the temperature in real time.
So what's the smallest wattage on the Wi-Fi and the tallest?
150 watt, which you have in your hand, all the way up to 300 watts.
300 water. Okay. Useful for some of the tanks that I'm building.
Yeah.
All right. So some of the tanks I'm using get to the point where they need a calcium reactor. You guys have a pH probe and looks like CO2 solenoid as well. What's with that?
Yeah, so we call it our pH controller. So it's a full kit. You're getting the pH probe that obviously goes in the water. We get our main control unit, and you get a magnetic solenoid that goes to the CO2 bottle itself.
Okay.
So you're basically just connecting that the same as the heater. It's QR code, browser based. You say, hey, once my pH reaches a certain threshold, turn that CO2 bottle on, turn it off using that magnetic solenoid.
Okay.
So great for freshwater plant hobbyists and great for calcium reactors as well.
And I'm going to get alerts if the pH is too high or too low?
Yep, you set that threshold yourself. We don't try to dictate to you what you're doing with your own setup, so lots of flexibility there too.
And can we set bubble rates out of that? How does that work in terms of set rates?
So you're going to do that on your own with the regulator, but it's just really just an on-off on that solenoid.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's the regulator, pH probe, and the solenoid.
So the kit does not include the solenoid. So you get, or not include the regulator. You're getting the solenoid, the control unit, and the pH probe.
Okay, so supply your own solenoid and use it
Supply your
right
own
after
solenoid, supply your own CO2 bottle. Yeah.
it. So what's next?
We've got our Wi-Fi Autofeeder.
Of course, how can I forget the Autofeeder?
Yep.
Very popular. Wi-Fi as well, set schedules.
Set schedule. The coolest thing on it is there is a scale inside, so it understands the weight of your food.
Ah, okay.
So you'll get notifications if it's empty or half full, whatever you want that to be.
I was going to ask you that. You beat me to it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Lots of things here, all controllable, not through an app, through a browser. How long ago did you make the original canister filter? I just got to know.
And I'd have to look at the year.
Stick question. You should know this. Come on.
I have to go back and look. It's
I
been
stumped them.
at least 1960s. Yeah.
Wow. That's older than Jimmy.
Yeah.
Come on.